You know, I told also it was on the drive-through this past week. I described the issues that I'd had with my emails since GoDaddy decided to hand me off to Microsoft. Apparently, what has happened is I was just handed off like some unwanted child to something called Microsoft Office. And as I mentioned,
hold on. Can I stop you?
Yes.
You say something called Microsoft Office.
This is what has been reported to me. I'm just giving you the goddamn details.
You've heard of this before, correct?
No.
You've never heard of Office?
I've heard of an office. I've worked in a couple of offices. I've given people the office when they were being too stiff with me, but I've not had the pleasure of experiencing the gibberish and hieroglyphics known as Microsoft Office, which is, as I mentioned, what I've been handed off to from my old email that I knew how to work. Because GoDaddy
shocked by this.
Don't want to be responsible anymore. What are you muttering?
Well, I'm just shocked by this. It's like the most well-known suite of business applications you can get for your computer.
You can't even fucking
I just described it. It took me an extra second, but I got it with an extra beat. But I got it.
A suite of what?
A suite of professional business applications.
Well, there's the problem. I'm not trying to run a professional business. I'm trying to do this in what's supposed to be my retirement from my home, and they're not giving me any fucking help and assistance. I need some assistance. So what I did was I told you on the drive-thru, I had Hotchkiss come over after they did that, and I couldn't even find the email to determine whether I couldn't read it or not. Well, now this goddamn new email just gave me a fucking notification that I have a new email that I probably won't be able to read or answer, and it chimed in my ear and put a box up on the screen. Fuck these people. Anyway, so Hotchkiss came over here and transferred, as he said, to another platform that would be more resembling what the fuck I've been using for the past 12 years, right? So I'd know how to work it. It would actually have English words on the functions instead of just little goddamn pictures that you can't see and you don't know what the fuck they are anyway. So he does that, and as I mentioned, everything was fine, and I was starting to send out emails and answer people who were looking for their packages and various business that's stacked up. Well, I found out, Brian, that to paraphrase Jerry Seinfeld, it's not the sending of the emails, it's the receiving of them. I was sending them, but they weren't going anywhere. And so then I get on the phone with Hotchkiss, who's trying to walk me through this for about 30 minutes. And finally I said, look, you're going to be here in a fucking week, and I'm going to throw this thing off the deck. So just fuck it, right? Because it was just going around in circles. And he was going, So but then I was like, well, I could just get this finished. I have this miscellaneous Cornette's Collectibles business to finish up with a few people looking for their package or had an issue, whatever. A little miscellaneous business on my personal email. The rest of it can go piss up a rope, but I want to get this finished. So I sat down early in the morning on Wednesday, and I said, here's what I've got. I said to myself, Self, the email, that platform that Hotchkiss fixed up for you, you can read them, you can print them, you can delete them, you just can't reply to them. So I'll go through and I'll clean all that stuff out and I'll see what needs attention. I'll know what's there. Then I will go over to the old button for the email that Hotchkiss had not transferred over, that is the new Office Microsoft bullshit, and I'll see if I can figure out how to answer the most important shit. Because I should be able to send them from that once that I know what I'm looking for and try to find them. You following me, Brian?
I'm trying.
Okay. So I printed some stuff out and I deleted some stuff and I read some things, and then I go over to the other button because he put me a new button on there so I wouldn't have to click on the Microsoft thing, because when I click on that, it goes to my GoDaddy login, where then if I log in, then it redirects me to Microsoft Office, where then I have to do some other shit.
What do you mean button?
The thing on the screen that I click on to go to the
icon.
Email. The icon. There you go. There you go. Icon. The icon, it's not Sting. It doesn't look like him at all.
It's the button that Hotchkiss put on your computer.
It's the button that Hotchkiss put on where I click on this and this goes to the email. From now on, I'm going to call it the Icon Sting. So then the new email pops up. So I've got 3 email addresses. And the reason for this was long ago, was one for the merchandise orders, come into the website, one for the fans, the people that I can just bandy about willy-nilly, and one's supposed to be for my personal business. And the traffic on that one is a little less, but still it's gotten muddied up over the years. So on this, the Microsoft email, I go in, I said, well, I got to answer them on one of the other email addresses. So I try to log out. Well, when I log out of that and put in the other email address and password and click, yes, log in. Would you like to stay logged in? Sure. Click. And then it takes me back to something else. Now, I just did that. Click that in. It takes me over there. Click. And then it goes back to the same email that I started from. So on what Hotchkiss set up for me, I can read them, I can delete them, I can print them out, I can't answer them. And on the email that GoDaddy sent me to Microsoft on, I can, if I knew how, do all of the stuff I'm supposed to do, except I can only get to one of the 3 different email addresses because it sends me around in circles. Now, at one point, Brian, I'll have you know that I clicked something and got into my old email, the GoDaddy one that I knew how to work. It was all laid out. It was all the same. Of course, there were no emails for the last 10 days because that's when they switched it. But the other stuff was there. And I started answering things and they were going through. And I did about 4 or 5. And then I said, okay, now I'll see if I can get over to this other email address. And when I logged out of that, then I went back to the new Microsoft Office shit. And I couldn't get back to my old one ever again. However that took place. And also, somebody sent me an attachment. But I tried to open the attachment. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but it was something like, fuck you, you can't see this. So I've been a little bit incommunicado. So after 3 hours on Wednesday, I was getting chest pains akin to when I used to have to suffer the presence and existence of Greg the Office Boy in Ring of Honor. And what I did was I just took the rest of the day off because it was pouring rain, like pouring piss out of a boot, like a tall cow pissing on a flat rock is how it was raining on Wednesday. And I had chest palpitations and heart frustrations and a headache. And I went downstairs in the TV room and I put in a DVD that my good friend David Williamson from East Tennessee sent me just recently of 6 hours of Continental Wrestling from 1985. And I watched that to try to calm down and rubbed Harley's belly. So now Hotchkiss is coming over here in a couple of days to look at this personally again because he's coming over to shoot these cameos that we're going to be doing. So, fuck GoDaddy and fuck Microsoft. And as a matter of fact, fuck you for laughing like Microsoft. Like,
I didn't laugh at that part.
What part were you laughing at?
You've never heard of Microsoft Office?
Microsoft Office.
You've never heard of that.
If it hadn't been on my computer screen, then I haven't heard of it. And so far, I've never come across this particular thing.
And by the way, let me tell you this, and I have no interest in the battle because I'm a shareholder of Microsoft and Apple, but I think so many of your problems overall, not just with email, really not really with email at all, but if you switch to Mac and got off PC and got off the Windows operating system and the Microsoft and went with Apple.
I understand that all those words are in the English language, but I have no idea what they mean in the context of the way that you are arranging and using them.
This Microsoft...
If you got off a Mac to PC and had a bite out of an apple, what are you talking about?
No, basically, you have a problem with Microsoft right now. You don't like their office. You don't like that they've taken over your emails.
I've never been to their office.
They control your operating system on your computer. You should go and get an Apple and get a Mac, and I think you'd like the computer better. I can't even talk. Damn it.
Why are you getting so upset?
Buy a Mac.
Hey, who's this guy Mac, and how much are his apples?
You don't know Office. I know you know Apple and Mac. So
Apple was a record company that the Beatles formed. Mac is a character on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I've never been to Microsoft's office because I don't even know what town they're located in. What? You're wheezing now.
You've heard of Steve Jobs.
I thought it was Jobs.
No, it's Jobs.
Well, how many has he done? Who'd he ever beat? Steve, you know, that would have been a good name for a job guy, Steve Jobber. Or it's just Steve Jobs. He does?
How do we get
anyway, did you have something else to say?
I have nothing else to say.
Well, Hotchkiss is coming over for a good reason here in a few days, besides to fix this.
Besides that,